The President, please be seated. The court is now back in session, and without further ado, we would like to now hand over to counsels for Mr. Nguyen Chia to continue putting questions to this to this witness. Counsel Sun Arun, good afternoon again to you, Mr. President, and Your Honors. I would like now to continue putting a few more questions. Mr. Kampan, what should I call you? I call you Kampan or Panwan? Response. Officially, I am known as Panwan. Question. Mr. Panwan, this morning I asked you a few questions already, but I had not completed the questioning. I have a few more questions to put to you. In the telegrams number 40, before reading the content of the telegram, I would like Mr. President Lee to bring 7 telegrams to bring 7 telegrams to the witness for examination. The President, you may proceed, but please tell the chamber the identification of the document, for example, EIN numbers. Response. These documents include telegrams 00, telegram number 2, number 3, and another telegram number 3 but different content, and telegram number 10, 22, and 33. The President, we would like you to tell the chamber the identification of the document, which is the EIN number or E number, for example, not just these numbers you said. Counsel Sun Arun, document E3/1196, which is telegram number 33. Document E3/1195, telegram 22. E3/1194, telegram number 10. E3/1189, telegrams number 3. Document E3/1193, telegram number 3 as well. Document E3/1192, telegram number 2. Document E3/1191, telegram 00. The President, you may proceed. Court officer is now instructed to bring these documents from Counsel Sun Arun to the witness for examination. Question. Mr. Witness, are you ready for me to put you some questions. I think you have already obtained the documents. The President Counsel Sonarun, to assist the proper conduct of the proceedings, I think it would be best if you can put a document at a time when you putting questions to the witness. Because if you now giving him the 7 documents all together, it makes it difficult for him to focus on any particular document you would refer to. Counsel Sonarun, Mr. President, I would like to ask a general question to him, not necessarily any particular content of any of the documents. I would like to ask him about the format of the documents. This morning I was cut short when I was talking about the logo of Naga and some letter Tela like that. The President, you may proceed, Counsel. Question. Mr. Witness, you now have the documents in hand. Can I ask you some questions, please? Response. You may. Of course. Question. You decoded the telegrams during the time you worked there. Can you please tell the chamber how long had you been decoding the telegrams? Response. I worked as a telegram decoder before Phnom Penh fell. A short while after Phnom Penh fell, I was a driver and my sister was my successor in the telegram section. Question. Can you give us some estimation as to how many months or years you've been working at that section? Response. About 2 years. Thank you. Question. Do you remember when you last decoded a telegram? Response. It was late 1975 or early 1976. Question. You said that your sister was your successor in that section. Is that correct? Response. Yes, it is. Question. So in these 7 documents that I plan to put some questions to you about, in particular the form and format of the documents, perhaps you are not in the best position to tell the chamber about them because you did not have knowledge of them. If so, you can say you don't know. Is it a fair understanding of your situation now? Response. Yes, it is. I don't know. Thank you. Question. Before your sister took over from you at the telegram decoding section, and during the period of 2 years that you had been working in this particular section, decoding all these telegrams, do you remember that the telegrams are of the same format like the ones you see right now? Response. Indeed, the format of the telegrams and the layout indeed of the telegrams are exactly the same. Question. Now, these telegrams bear some numbers and dates and also the name of the people who have had sent them addressing to some individuals, including Brother Nguyen or Kieu. But if you look at the bottom of the telegram, and you would see the address and the name like Tela in Latin and Khmer scripts. Were these the formats of the telegram sent out to people during the period when you worked as a decoder? Response. During that period, there was no such script, Tela, like that, but indeed there were dates and names. Question. So, the 7 telegrams I showed to you, do you believe that these are the genuine telegrams sent from Sector 105 to upper echelon? Response. I believe that as long as the originality of these documents are concerned, it is true that they could have been sent from Sector 105 to the upper echelon. But the difference in that is that I never heard of Tela or seen such script on any of the telegrams before when I worked there. Question. You said you agreed with us that these are the format of the telegrams, but now you don't agree that there should be some kind of Tela script on the pages. What is your testimony now then? The President, Co-Prosecutor, you may now proceed.
Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you, President. Just a few points with respect to the defense's line of questioning. This morning, prior to the interruption, the witness stated very clearly that it was a telegram. He validated the authenticity of the telegram based on its appearance and formatting. Secondly, with respect to whether he was there or not, I think the defense is trying to mislead the witness. Among the documents presented, some do bear a few common points with those that we have presented. And in fact, they are documents that were sent to the center from Sector 105. This was confirmed by the witness. Now, where the defense is misleading the witness is that these documents were not sent from Sector 105, but in fact, they were simply received by the center. And as it was made very clear, there was a process in place. Either at Sector 105, telegrams were typed, written, encoded, or decoded. As far as the documents which were received by the center are concerned, they do not bear the same characteristics as those which were sent by Sector 105 or copied. These documents were not used by Sector 105. The defense should enlighten the witness on which documents were found here in Phnom Penh. Thank you, Mr. President.
Counsel Sonaron, Mr. President, please allow me to respond to the prosecutor briefly. These pieces of evidence are precise and they are now being used before the chamber. They are genuine documents. If the prosecutor does not agree that these documents could have been sent from 105 to the Central Committee, or if prosecutor rules that or submits that these documents are fake, then we would like witness to shed light on this. If witness says that they are not official documents, then let it be.
Monsieur le Président.
The President, Council, we see that the documents you given to witness were the documents typewritten and received in Phnom Penh, and the witness was talking about his knowledge of the formats of the telegrams that he saw at Sector 105, which share the same format. So if you would like to ask questions on this, it would be best if you address the questions to those who decoded such telegrams in Phnom Penh, because the documents were received in Phnom Penh. And if you would like to put these documents to ask him some questions, then you would ask him whether he was in charge in Phnom Penh receiving some telegrams from Sector 105. Because if he received the messages at 105 during his tenure, then he would be able to understand or shed light on the formats or the documents themselves. We already learned that the same or similar incident happened in case file 001, where annotations would be made on some pieces of the document. So to be clear, and so that we are on the same page, the documents here are received or were received in Phnom Penh, and that this witness did not work in Phnom Penh, so he would not be able to tell you anything about it. Counsel, the purpose of putting such questions to Mr. Panwan is to know whether he has ever seen the same form of documents during the time he worked there. So it is our understanding is that he already left the place when these documents were prepared. He admitted that these form of documents were familiar, and I asked question about the dragon, rather Naga logo and script. The President intervenes. Counsel, I think it is not hard to understand. It is the format itself that witness already confirmed to be the same format he was knowledgeable of during that time. So your questions would be more relevant to some more telegram decoders or those who would have been working in Phnom Penh, who would be more familiar with these formats than the witness before us, because additional text on the telegrams would be impossible for this witness to verify. Counsel, thank you, Mr. President. I would like to continue to other questions. On almost every telegram sent out from 105, we find that Brother Nguyen was copied. Based on your experience working as the telegram decoder, do you understand this message, the message addressing to somebody, for example, and then copied to somebody? What is the difference between addressing to and copy to. Response: I don't think I understand this very much because as a telegram decoder I would be tasked with decoding the text only, and people who was in charge of typing the telegram would be tasked with typing only. Question: Mr. Kampan, you said you worked as a driver and you would drive Madam Ieng Thirit back and forth. And at the same time, you also testified that when you worked at B20 for some period of time, you got to know some senior leaders including Pol Pot, Nuon Chea, Ieng Sari, Khieu Samphan, Hu Nam and Hu Yun. That's what you said. My question to you is, did you know Nuon Chea very well? Response: yes, I did. Question: did you ever encounter him or converse with him in your capacity as the driver? Response: yes, I did. Question: if you knew him very well, can you tell the chamber, please, what is Mr. Nuon Chea like, or what was he like? Was he a kind of barbaric person, unfriendly individual, or a gentleman, a man of righteousness and consciousness, a man who loved his own nation and countrymen? Response: I knew him very well after the Vietnamese entered Phnom Penh when we went to the jungle together. Question: I do not think you have answered my question yet. Tell the chamber, please, about your impression concerning his character. Response: Counsel, could you repeat the question? Counsel: thank you. I would like now to put you this question again. You said you knew Mr. Nuon Chea very well. You had opportunities to converse with him both officially and informally. As his subordinate, can you describe his personality? Was Nuon Chea a cruel person, a person who detained each and every one arbitrarily, or was he a gentleman, a good leader, a man who loves justice and his own country like other leaders did? Witness: as I indicated, we went or ran away into the jungle together for the struggle cause. However, as I knew you put this question, you asked whether he loved his own country and countrymen or not. I don't understand the term precisely. I've been fully engaged in the movement. I noted that he did not love his own country very much, but he was in favor of individuals. He would implicate people of being enemies, those he didn't like. I do not think he would be the person best described as someone who loved his own country very much. Counsel: thank you. This morning, you responded to questions put by my colleague that the Vietnamese entered the country and Sarun had been in power. When Sarun had been in power, more and more people kept disappearing. With that, when you said a lot of people disappeared, did you learn about this firsthand or did you hear about it? Can you please tell the chamber your position or knowledge about this? Response: I knew about this. I didn't see this firsthand. I learned about this because I asked people some questions. I was suspicious when I didn't see the people I used to see every day. And they told me, the people I asked told me that these people had disappeared or executed. Question: so this means that you learn about this through other people? Response: yes, I did. Question: before the chamber yesterday, you also stated that Mr. Nuon Chea sent telegrams to your father and Mr. Kampoon inviting them to go to Phnom Penh for a study session. But your uncle Kampoon and your father died during this period when they were in Phnom Penh. Question: did you know or were you aware that the telegram sent to your father by Nuon Chea was received by your father personally, or was it sent through someone else? Response: at that time my sister was at work and she received the telegram on my father and uncle's behalf. Question: did you see that telegram? Response: no, I didn't. Question: since you didn't see the telegram, how could you respond to the chamber? Did you speculate on this? Response: I didn't speculate. I was very clear in my mind because my father told me that brother number 2 sent the telegram for him and my uncle to go to Phnom Penh for work. And I also learned that my father and my uncle prepared to go to Phnom Penh because of the telegram. Question: when Talang, your father, came to Phnom Penh at the beginning, did he go there alone or was he accompanied by another person? Response: I don't recollect this. Question: in your record of interview before the co-investigating judges, document E3/58, ERN in Khmer 00239937, English 00250089, French 00288915. You stated that apart from this, Nuon Chia wrote typewritten telegrams that he sent to sector secretaries, including Ta Supir, member of the sector in charge of military, to my father and to other people, so that they could be invited to attend study sessions in Phnom Penh. My father and Kampoon were executed during one of the study sessions. Here, I would like to seek some clarification. You said that these people went to Phnom Penh after they received a telegram from Mr. Nuon Chia. Your father, Talang, indeed, and your uncle and other person, a witness, and you yourself accompanied them to Phnom Penh. According to your best recollection, did your father and Mr. Kampoon go to Phnom Penh alone? Response: I already stated clearly that we came to Phnom Penh all together, my uncle Kampoon, my father, I myself, and another person who was their bodyguard. Question: So, when Ta Nuon Chia wrote this letter or telegram, he wanted to invite 4 people to Phnom Penh, not necessarily inviting Ta Lang alone to Phnom Penh. Is that what we understand from your statement? Response: Yes, it is correct. The telegram was meant to invite these people. It invited only 2 individuals, my uncle and my father, but then 2 people accompanied them. Question: The telegram Nuon Chia sent to your father was not seen by you, but when you accompanied, but indeed you accompanied your father on the trip. Who did actually receive the telegram sent by Nuon Chia? Response: I said that clear already, that it was my sister who received the telegram. And again, let me emphasize on this. The letter, the telegram was sent to my father and my uncle only, but 2 additional people accompanied them to Phnom Penh. Counsel Sonarun, thank you, Mr. Witness, and thank you, Mr. President and Your Honors. I have no further questions to put to the witness. The President, thank you, and we would like now to proceed to counsels for Mr. Kyu Sampon, if you would like to put some questions to him.
Council Kung Samon. Thank you, Mr. President. Good afternoon to members of the bench. Good afternoon, witness. I am the National Defense Counsel for Mr. Khew Sampon. I have a few questions to ask you. I am conscious of the time. We have a few minutes before we break for the day, and I may resume tomorrow if I cannot finish my question this afternoon. I would like to begin my question concerning Mr. Khew Sampon. As you testified earlier that you know Mr. Khew Sampon. When did you first know him? Response. I knew him when I was very young. At that time, I was with B20, and I knew him from there. Question. Do you recall the year when you knew him back in B20? Response. I do not recall the year, but if you want to be clear about that, you can ask Mr. Khew Sampon yourself. Counsel, well, I can ask him, of course, but I am now asking you, so please respond to my question. And if my question is not clear, feel free to seek clarification. Now, when you first knew Mr. Khew Sampon, what was the position he held at the time? Do you know that? Response. I was very young at that time. Question. How old were you back then? Response. I do not even recall my exact age at the time. Question. Well, do you know what position Mr. Khew Sampon held at the time? Response. No, I didn't. I simply addressed him as Ankol, and everyone called him Ankol at the time. Question. Who introduced you to Mr. Khew Sampon, or you only knew him by accident? Could you tell the court the circumstance that led you to know Mr. Khew Sampon back then? Response. At that time, my father sent me for a training session. Question. Can you please be more precise? Where did you receive the training? Response. It was at B20, as I told you earlier. Question. What did you study at the time in the training course? Response. I was taught how to write as well as to decode a telegram. Did you learn how to write Khmer or any other languages? Response. It was Khmer language. Question. How about the decoding of telegrams? What are you talking about? Can you tell us what you really studied at the time? Response. We learned how to decode telegrams as well as the code used in radio communication. Question. Do you recall who your trainer was at the time? Response. As I told you earlier, at the time and Sim, to my recollection, Sim was the instructor. Was she the only instructor, or there was any other instructors? Response: I can only recall her. Thank you. Question. Now, I would like to look at K17. Can you tell the court what K17 did at the time? Response. Back then, it was called the messenger office, and its code name was K17. Question: how long did you work at K17? And if you can, please tell the court from which year to which year. Response: are you asking me about K17 attached to Sector 105 or K17 at the center? Because I myself was working at K17 at Sector 105. Counsel: of course, I'm asking you about K17 at the office or Sector 105. Response: at Sector 105, K17 was called the office of the sector. Now it was, in the present day, the equivalent structure of this office was the provincial hall. Question: can you tell the court the general structure of Sector 105, particularly K17? Respond: I do not recall it well. At that time I was too young. I could only recall some basic structure, but in terms of the overall structure of this office, I do not recall completely. Question: can you specify the year when you started your work at K17 and the time you departed or you left this office? What year was it? Response: K17 was set up before the liberation of Phnom Penh, approximately a year prior to the fall of Phnom Penh. And I stayed there up until the day my father died. Question: is it fair to say that you started working there from 1974 up until 1977? Is that a fair summary of that event? Response: that is correct. It was about these many years. The President: the time is now appropriate for the day adjournment. Thank you, Counsel. The time is appropriate for adjournment. I note the Defense Counsel is on his feet. You may proceed, Counsel.
Thank you, Mr. President. I will be very, very brief. I'm conscious of the time. I simply wanted to inform you that today will be the last day that I appear before your chamber. My first appearance before you was almost exactly 2 years ago, and they have been memorable years. And as a lawyer, I simply want to stress that I feel that this tribunal can do more to promote the rule of law in Cambodia today, and it can do more to promote the accountability before the courts of anyone, regardless of their position, and it can do more to stress the importance of the independence of the courts in Cambodia. I believe that should be part of the legacy that the ECCC leaves behind. I think it is in your hands, the hands of the trial chamber, and I think it is not too late to start. I thank you, all prosecution, civil parties, my colleagues from the defense, and
President, lead co-lawyer for the civil parties, you may proceed. Counsel Pechong, with all due respect, Mr. President, I think that it is not appropriate to make this statement at this juncture. And I believe that this is a statement that the parties may wish to make, but it may unnecessarily affect the chamber as a whole. President, Mr. Jasper Pau, you are not granted the floor to make any further statement, and the time is now appropriate for the day adjournment. The chamber will adjourn now and will resume tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning. And tomorrow the chamber will hear the testimony of Mr. Pan Van, and following the completion of the testimony of the current witness, the chamber will hear another witness, TCW 665. Mr. Pan Van, your testimony has not yet come to an end. The chamber will resume hearing you tomorrow morning, so the chamber wishes to invite you once again to come to the court tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. And duty counsel, please be also advised that we will resume the hearing of the testimony of your client tomorrow, and you are also invited to attend tomorrow's hearing. And court officer is instructed now to facilitate the transportation and accommodation for the witness and have him back to this courtroom before 9 o'clock in the morning. And the duty counsel, please also come to the court by the scheduled time. Security guards are instructed to bring the co-accused back to the detention facility and bring them back to the courtroom before 9 tomorrow morning. And as for Mr. Ieng Sari, he is going to be brought to the holding cell downstairs where the audio-visual equipment is connected to him to follow the proceeding remotely. The court is now adjourned.